In 1537, Emperor Charles V punished the people of Ghent for orchestrating a popular uprising, a rebellion. 470 years later, two brothers from the very same place have orchestrated their own rebellion and popular uprising in music, smashing down the barriers that existed between the rock world and the dance world. Those two brothers are called Stefan and David Diwali, otherwise known as Soulwax. As a creative force, Soulwax are impossible to pigeonhole. They play live with their band of the same name, are two of the world's genuine superstar DJs, and their self-produced side project, Too Many DJs, was a mashup album that blew dance culture apart. And when the brothers are not on stage, they are two of the most sought-after remix producers on the planet. Their new album brings together a collection of their best remix work and includes underground classics alongside tracks from Kylie and Robbie Williams. So what do you need to hear in a track to make you go, yeah?
There's no real system, because if the track is not that good, it makes it sometimes easier, because you can just take a little part that you like and you just use that. Because in most of the remixes we do, we just take a little bit and then we completely redo it.
Have you turned remixes down just simply because you didn't like the artist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but we tell them we don't have time.
Oh, okay, that's okay. So right now, there's loads of artists going, wait a minute, they told us that.
No, it's not you.
Actually, there's also a lot that we like that we turned down because we didn't have the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you listen to music in a way that's different to other people?
No.
You don't listen to music and deconstruct it?
I don't know. I listen. That's like asking, how do you look at things? I don't know.
A Soulwax club reworking of your track provides a kudos, a coolness by association that artists are literally queuing up for. Given the guy's reputation, I was dying to have a look at where and how they work. On first impressions, it's not quite where you'd expect two of the world's best producers to base themselves. Whoa, oh my gosh, this is the lab. This is quite literally, I mean, it's like a 1970s science fiction film. The place is crammed full of vintage gear. Most of it you'd be more likely to find in a skip, never mind a working studio.
We got to slide this on.
One of the many tracks they remixed here was by indie rockers The Gossip. When you break down a track like Stand in the Way of Control by The Gossip, how many parts do they send you?
Well, it's pretty, you know,
Like how many does that mean? I mean, there's backing vocals,
tracks?
there's vocals.
30 tracks?
Yeah, because something that takes a lot of tracks is drums. Because there's a kick drum, snare drum, overhead mics, ambient mics. There's a lot of tracks for drums, but we internally we bounce it down to 2 tracks. So we have 2 tracks with drums.
Do you think anybody's still following this?
The guys begin work by stripping songs back to their basic recorded elements, and then set about reinventing the track.
So by this point, these synths are building up to the point where they're going to replace the rest of the guitars and bass, and at a certain point it'll just be these kind of machines, analog machines. That added with the drums would give you. Sorry.
And that's the chorus.
Yeah, that's the.
And then
guitars, bass, and. So this is the whole thing together.
What amazed me about their method of working is that they use 30 or 40-year-old analog gear alongside state-of-the-art digital equipment. This mix of the old and new is crucial to how the brothers work, providing an edge to the process that gives each track a unique quality. Those sounds would be almost impossible to replicate if they only used digital devices.
See, the thing with this desk also is, and I think that's one of the cool things, most mixing desks now are automized, which means that any movement you do now, yeah, it remembers it, and you do something like you're mixing the levels and everything, and then you push a button, and it will go back to where you were. With this desk, there's no, this is old school. It's a really, really old one. So the slightest touch sometimes changes the whole sound of something. So it means that you have to be prepared. Like, we have to prepare ourselves, because the minute we put it on there, that's it. We can't go back to it. Like the version you had of The Gossip, if somebody would ask us now to redo it, like to make the same remix, it would take us weeks. It's a really delicate process. It's kind of like conducting something, you know, like you really have to prepare it, and it's nice because you know that once you do it, it's always going to be hard to do it a second time.
Spending time with Soulwax, what hits you is the level of real musicianship that they bring to the remix process. People always think about electronic dance music, electronica, as being always really modern thinking, and all these big companies are always coming up with the latest sound modules, and these guys but you guys, this is all retro. I mean, how old is this machine?
Mid-70s.
So what does this give you? What does this give you that a 21st century digital sound module can't give you?
That's what makes it interesting for us. Like, yeah, see, for example, with this, and you know how this goes. It's not perfect. It's kind of the detuning is what makes it interesting, and I think it's also what the human ear picks up. It's something that doesn't sound right. Because a lot of electronic music, which is just made with presets, like a machine, and you just have like 99 presets, and you just go through them, and you're just like, yeah, that sounds right to me. That to us is boring, because you're not really doing anything, and you find that you spend a lot more time going through all those presets than actually making. If you have limited possibilities, you make your own. You make your own sounds. It's a lot more interesting.
This is kind of sadomasochism.
Yeah,
doing this.
Basically, the motto of Soulwax is why do it the easy way. That just doesn't seem to work for us.
I think people underestimate just how much work goes into making electronic music and remixing and creating different sounds, and somehow would never equate what Soulwax do with what Hendrix did on a guitar or John Bonham did on a drum kit. But today, one thing I've definitely felt and definitely learned is the amount of passion that David and Stefan have for their art, and that makes them artists, whether people like it or not. That passion, that dedication, and that irrational obsession is what makes Soulwax artists and makes remixing an artistry.